Assalamualaikum and good evening. My name is Putri Asniti, Wadatul Dakwah Miti Adin.
My name is Nur Khatiza binti Hasanar.
My name is Asmi Binadin.
Hi, madam. My name is Jivakaran Kumar.
And today we are going to be reviewing the article that we have been chosen titled Moderating Role of Shariah Committee Quality on Relationship between Board of Directors Effectiveness and the Performance of Malaysian Takaful. First and foremost, I'm going to be elaborating on the details of the article that we have chosen. The researcher's name of this article is among three of these researchers, which are Manda Eldaya, Mustafa Hanifa, and Ashwiken Marzuki. And the publication date of this article is on the 12th December 2021. The purpose of this article is to investigate how board of directors' effectiveness impact the operation of Malaysian Takaful businesses that have Central Bank of Malaysian licenses. And this also means that this article means to investigate how the quality of the Sharia committee trying to affect the connection between the effectiveness of the board of the financial performance of Takaful companies. And you can continue with the next slide, please. Next.
Okay, so the next part will be presented by me, which is the problem. So for the problem, there are 5 main points, which is the problem is clearly stated. The problem is clearly stated as the impact of the corporate governance of the financial performance of Malaysian Takaful companies in the Islamic finance industry. So this study specifically attempts to look into the role of played by the Sharia Committee Quality and Board of Directors in determining the performance of the companies. Despite the success, the Takaful business still confronts obstacles such as risk of Sharia non-compliance brought on by weak Board of Directors and Sharia Committee. Next, is it practically important? So for that, corporate governance played critical role in how Takaful organization cooperate. So the point will be effective corporate governance highlights the significance of Sharia compliance practices, appealing to both Muslims and those seeking ethical finance. And moving on with the purpose of the study. Purpose of the study will be corporate governance, investigate the impact of performance of Takaful companies in the Islamic finance industry, and also a system of procedure and policy that aims to ensure transparency and fairness in a firm which is insurance industry. So moving on to the hypothesis. Hypothesis will be the the study explored the link between corporate governance and financial performance in Malaysian Takaful companies, which indicate a positive association between board independence and performance. All and also contributes to understanding effective corporate governance practices in the Takaful industry. So, what are the key terms? Key terms for this study, which will be corporate governance, which is CG and Sharia Committee Quality SCQ. So, corporate governance is referred to a system of procedure and policies that influence how a firm is controlled and monitored. It ensures transparency and fairness in the relationship between a firm and its shareholders. Corporate governance also likely encompasses the mechanism and practices employed by Takaful companies to ensure effective oversight accountability. So that's all for my part. On to the next one.
I will continue with the review of the literature, and we will first start with the relevancy of the sources. According to the sources that we have been referred, based on our study that we have analyzed through this article, the Nasrullah and El Khori from 2021. This is relevant resources because it is very much crucial. It plays a crucial role as an internal company governance mechanism. This is also very supporting and the notion that BOD plays a pivotal role in effective corporate governance practices, and it is very instrumental in ensuring that responsible decision making and resource allocation within organization. And responsible of the BOD are among to supervise and monitor managers and to provide essential business resources. As for the coverage of the review in this article, it can be said that it is narrow in the scope of coverage because it also focuses specifically on the impact of the corporate governance practices, and it also examines how Sharia committee quality influences both effectiveness and the financial performance in the Takaful company. And then on the references, the journal that has been referred to can be coming up and to conclude the study in this article has ranged from the year of 2018, 2018, I'm sorry, 2013 to 2021. And it has taken more than 10 years for the study to be completed by the researchers. And as for the evidences for any biasness, we can say that this study has its own objectivity of the evidences because it is relevant and fully support the focus of the article on the corporate governance and the role of the board of directors in ensuring transparency, accountability, and effective oversight. It has also been observed by us, the one that is studying and analyzing the article, that although some of the article that has been referred to were back in the years that is way before the coverage of the years that they are studying. However, the topic that they have delved into are the topic that is relevant and support the topic that we are studying in this article. Next. I'll pass to my next member.
Okay, for my part, I will explain about design that our article used. So my first point is our article focus on investigating the relationship between corporate governance and the financial performance of 11 Takaful companies in Malaysia using the data from period 2010 to 2017. So next is our article written by author is an original study. This means our article focus on investigating the relationship between corporate governance and the financial performance of 11 Takaful company in Malaysia. Using data from the period 2010 to 2017, the data was collected from the company licensed by Central Bank of Malaysia and covers a crucial time span with significant events including international and local financial crises. 11 Takaful companies over the 8 consecutive years, resulting in 88 observations were used as panel data in analysis. Mean substitution was used when the number of missing observation was less than 15% of the sample, ensuring a strongly balanced data set. So next, the measurement tool that used by our article is the return on asset, which is ROA, and return on equity, which is ROE. So the next point is the independent variable is financial performance measured by return on asset and return on equity. This means 5 independent variables represent board of effectiveness attributes, including board of size, board of independence. Okay, that's all. So, okay, wait. So my next point is sample selection is one of the studies that selected by of 11 Takaful company operating in Malaysia and licensed by Central Bank of Malaysia between 2010 and 2017. This means the data spent the year 2017 to 2010 to 2017, providing a panel dataset with 88 observations. The company were chosen based on the specific criteria to ensure relevance to the research objective. If more than 15% of observation were missing, the entire observation was removed from dataset. That's all from me. Thank you. I will pass to my next member.
Okay, I will explain about data analysis and the presentation. So, before I begin, in report we have accidentally missed to include the fact that the data was obtained from the sample that consists of 11 Takaful company operating in Malaysia and licensed by Bank Negara Malaysia (BNM). So they're using regression model, which have 3 models in total in panel data setting from 2010 to 2017. So the missing value were handled by using mean substitution for variable less than 15%, missing observation. So the 3 regression model, the first model is examining the direct impact of board effectiveness attributes on financial performance. Second model assess the direct effect of a composite board effectiveness index on financial performance. For the third model, explore the moderating role of Shariah committee quality on the relationship between board of directors and financial performance. So, is the data quantitative or qualitative? The research used the quantitative data to understand on how different the factors affect the financial performance of Takaful companies in Malaysia. So, the research used various statistical measures like mean, median, minimum, maximum, and standard deviation to describe the data that they have collected. Other than that, they also focus on 5 factors that influence the financial performance, such as board size, board independence, Muslim directors, board meeting frequency, and also the gender diversity. So, the next is the purpose and hypothesis. So, the purpose of the study is to examine the effect of the board of directors' effectiveness on the performance of Malaysian Takaful companies. The hypothesis is to investigate the moderating effect of Shariah committee quality on the relationship between board of directors effectiveness and company's performance. As for the finding of the study, generally support the purpose and the hypothesis that the research has been studied. As for the weakness discussed, there is no explicit discussion about the weakness and problem during the studies. However, as we know, every research study may have certain limitation and potential issue that could affect the validity of the findings. We can only speculate on the potential weaknesses and problems that might happen in the present of the study. For an example, like a small sample of size, which is we only consist 11 Takaful company. A larger sample of size will have increased the study statistical power and generability. Next is the conclusion and implication. So, the conclusion of the study appears to be related to the to the original purpose, which is to examine the role of monitoring mechanism, specifically the board of directors' effectiveness in improving the financial performance of Malaysian Takaful company. So, the implication, they have several implications, which divided into two: academic and research community, and also regulators and policymakers. Academic and research communities. It provides empirical evidence that certain board attributes, such as independent Muslim and female directors, positively influence the firm performance. Board of directors and companies. The regulators and policymakers, which is, for example, Bank Negara Malaysia and Bursa Malaysia, can use this study to guide the policymaker in formulating and diversing regulation based on the empirical data to promote greater financial performance in Takaful industry. So, the result from this conclusion is affect various parties, mostly from Takaful company, and following the board of directors, investors and stakeholders, regulators and policymakers, academic research and community, and general public. So, the recommendation that we can recommend to this study is to improve the financial performance of Takaful company that might translate into increased economic stability and job opportunity within the industry, benefiting the public at large. Secondly, the finding indicate that the certain board attributes such as independent Muslim and female directors positively influence the performance of this company, aligning with urgency and resource dependency theories. However, there is also identified a negative impact of meeting frequency on performance. So that's all from us. Thank you.
Thank you, madam. That's all.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you.